Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Trio Talk. Today is March 3rd. Can you believe it? It's March already. Hi, guys. How are we doing today?
We're good.
It's all good, Aaron. How are you doing?
Good. Looks like it's a sunny day there in Seattle, right?
Well, you can't tell from my camera, but like it's picking up too much light outside today, Aaron. I think I had the same problem last week, so I might have to shift locations pretty soon. But yeah, it actually is sunny today.
I was going to say that you're watching too many vampire movies or something.
That is not the case. I'm not a horror fan. We did finish watching the Marvel series recently, though, so that's amazing.
Well, maybe that's what it is.
For me, that's pretty amazing. I'm not a movie guy.
Oh,
so speaking of that, that's like a COVID recovery thing, right?
Well, that is. What did they say at the Golden Globes the other day? They say, oh, people don't watch movies anymore. They can't take 2 hours out of their day to do it, but they'll watch they'll stream a series 5 times, 5 hours each day or something like that, So, yeah, you
could
stream. There's different things happening for COVID.
You could stream TrioTALKS for that matter, Aaron.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, we're almost out of COVID, right? There's some good news coming around the bend in terms of vaccinations and things like that. Just curious, what are you most looking forward to, hopefully, in maybe the next couple months? Are you looking forward to going to a concert, a sporting event, restaurants, conferences? What are you interested in doing? Patrick, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I'm not a good example, so I probably shouldn't. But what I'm not looking forward to, can I say that? Is I'm not looking forward to more traffic that's going to be a result of people having to go back to the office, actually. So
that would be very true. Yeah,
no, but I'm looking forward to, obviously, to everything opening up. All those things, Aaron. Sporting events, concerts, restaurants in full capacity. Just, people again. So
absolutely. I saw spring training started, but MLB is postponing until May now. So probably smart, right? Make sure everybody's vaccinated and everything. But spring training is still going to happen, right, Patrick?
It is going on right now, as a matter of fact. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
So,
and Daryl, how about you? What are you kind of looking forward to, or not looking forward to, as Patrick put?
No, I think just some of the normalcy coming back, like everybody. I think for right now, it's baby steps. It's like going outside and people not freaking out when you're, 10 feet away that you don't have a mask on when you're running. Those kind of things would be nice to kind of help more educate. It's been great. Up by us, everybody's pretty vigilant about everything, which has been great. But it'll be good to see the small businesses and the coffee shops and the restaurants start to have some life again. We saw one of our local restaurants right down from our office that was open and then close and open and close. They're open back up again. So you want to see people going and helping them be successful. So definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And like you said, that normalcy of just going to the grocery store or something and not, I don't know about you, but I've definitely forgotten my mask and had to go back to the car and get it right. So that sort of normalcy of not having to go through that a little bit would be really nice. So hopefully that'll be here sometime this summer. So really looking forward to that. So
yep.
Yeah. And I think by the time I get the vaccination, it's just going to be like a lollipop. It's not going to be like 2 shots in the arm or something. It's going to be a lozenge or something. Right. So that's okay. I'm really happy about that too. So,
well, it's going to change things for most of our audience in terms of, just showing houses again and interacting with your customers. So should be
absolutely. Well, speaking of customers, I do want to share this before we get too far ahead. We had a customer that went through our program, or I should say, started our program just recently. They're super excited about it, and they told everybody about it on Facebook. So I wanted to read this to you guys because he talks about a lot of those things that maybe agents, lenders, and even customers are worried about, and if it's normal and if it's easy or anything like that. So he writes, "This is the best program out there with the market the way it is. Trio is the prime way to go. I just went through the process with Trio, found my house, we did the inspection, and had the sellers fix what we needed. We paid a small amount, like as we were going to rent a place, which is really good to know. They have given me, my wife, and my kids an awesome opportunity. We live in the mountains in California. It's almost impossible to buy up here, and Trio helped us. Now we have our dream home, and working with Trio was amazing and so easy. Thank you, guys. So
And
I think that
we
just
didn't
kind of
write
sums it
that
up.
one. I mean,
No,
that's a real customer.
Yeah.
it's a
And
real customer.
It's fun to see. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's easy. And I love that he says, didn't have that opportunity before. Right. And that's very true. It's a tight market right now. People have different situations, and this might be a great way for customers out there. So love to see that. So, but I did want to share with you guys something real quick. In case you haven't visited our website in the last 24 hours, you may have noticed that we actually have a brand new homepage on here. And this is something that Daryl and the team have been working really hard at. And so we are slowly you want to explain, Daryl, slowly rolling out each page as they become available?
Well, I mean, we wanted to get the homepage up and redone, and that's finished up. We're changing up some branding right now. And then, the site's going to we've rewritten the application, obviously, this last 6 months. We want to get the skin up for the new homepage. We'll be launching an entirely new website here in the short term, which will update all the remainder of the pages and change some of the navigation. But yeah, Aaron, thanks to all the input. And I think it's, the objective is just to make things simpler for our customers, help them understand what we do much faster, and help them find the right, direction to go, in terms of making an application or seeking out our locations, and looking at what we can do for them. So yeah, it's very exciting to see, some continued progress. And we've got a lot of technology development that's been underway, during COVID, which has been a good time to do it. And we're looking forward to getting it up there.
Absolutely. No, it looks beautiful, and the designers did a great job. And I just want to point out some important things for people as they're looking at the new web homepage, right?
Is that Oscar? You want to point out Oscar?
Is this Oscar? No, I actually want to point out the minimum credit score here is now changed on our website. It's now 550. So that's something that we've talked about, but we actually haven't advertised it, right? So that's an important difference right there.
Yeah, and I think it's good to know that on that 550 score, we just see, right, a lot of our customers, a lot of folks out there, they've been negatively impacted by the changes that were done after the last crisis in credit scoring. And so a lot of people we find get overly, it's kind of like you tip it a little bit, and all of a sudden they take your score down quite a bit. And so we approve already a lot of exceptions for people below 580. So instead of just, taking it an exception basis, now we're going to open it up. We'll still be, looking at that credit below 580 and making sure that it's something that folks can overcome, meaning I call it clean credit, right? It's a clean 550 score versus something that's really a mess and people have just, buried themselves, and it's going to be hard for us to see how they get out of it. We still look at that no matter what, but this should, help clarify for folks, and for folks listening, that we can, do a broader reach with our program. And, again, it's 100% financing down to a 550 credit score. You just can't find that anywhere else. So, right, get the message out there and help more people get into their houses, just like Joey did, right? So.
Absolutely. Perhaps that gentleman's accolade should probably go right here about their experience. We've just gone ahead and posted some testimonials, and we just got a new one yesterday. But in case you ever want to hear about people's stories and what they had to overcome and how Trios helped them out, this is a great place to kind of take a look at that. We update those occasionally, and then we also have the Instagram feed on here as well, which is kind of exciting news, so that you can kind of stay in touch with any recent updates and anything like that. The other thing that we updated on our website, and we just kind of quickly brushed over it last time, but I want to make sure, if you go to our locations tab here on the website, you may have noticed that, or we did mention that there's a lot more blue on the page right now, right? And so that's kind of fun. all the green areas are where we are able to finance right now, right? But the blue areas will be coming soon, and looks like probably this year. So that's very, really, really exciting. So if you are in those areas, or if you also have opportunities to help folks in those areas, keep a lookout. We will be making announcements about that here in the next couple of weeks and months. Okay. So really, really exciting about that. I'm really excited about all this, you can tell. So anyway, I just, all these little changes to the website, you know, if you haven't visited in a while, you may not notice. That's why we want to make sure we go ahead and point those out for you guys. All right. Well, let's move into, real
Aaron,
quick.
Just
Yeah.
one final point on that. You know, you should almost have our Instagram feeds for our trio sightings, because I know we had a trio sighting at the top of Camelback Mountain this weekend. So.
We did. It was a very handsome gentleman and his wife that took their photo on top of Camelback Mountain this weekend
with our trio sign. That's that's the key. Yeah.
There you go.
So it's somebody on the screen is what you're saying here.
I'm going to say it's not me.
Promoting trio.
And not you.
Me.
Yeah. So there you go. Anyway. So there's that as well. I do want to point out real quick, we always get the question about Trio Ready homes and when they're going to be, when new ones are coming out. Well, I think last time we talked about that we didn't actually have any brand new Trio homes, and all the ones that were currently in inventory were reduced, but we actually have new ones coming out this week. We have ones in the Sacramento area, San Antonio, Atlanta, just to name a few. So that email will be coming out tomorrow. So please take a look at that and those brand new houses that'll be coming soon. I'm sorry, Daryl, I kind of cut you off.
No, you're good. It's, folks are the market's tight, right? So even for our Trio Ready homes, it's hard for us to get those out there. And what I would say is, keep monitoring our websites. I think that there's a couple more in the Texas market, one in Dallas that's going to be coming out. So, I think just look at those emails that come out every week and make sure you're priming your customers. And if you've got somebody in your base of customers that's looking for something specific in a specific market that you think we might have, ability to help, let us know. Send us a note and say, hey, I've got someone looking in this market area at this price point. Do you guys have anything coming out?
Gotcha. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. All right. Well, let's move on to some industry news, because a lot of things have been happening this week. Obviously, last week, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 was passed by the House, and it's now moving to the Senate. There's some interesting things in there, obviously, about housing that's really important to note. But what are your kind of takes on this? What are you kind of thinking how this is going to maybe affect Trio customers?
Aaron, I think it's good news for, folks that are in homes and I think that, so overall it's good news. I don't want to say anything opposite of that. I think that the challenge though is still in the details, right? There's a whole bucket load of money that's sitting there, and there's not a lot of specific guidance on it for states. So, by the time the money finds it into the hands of the people that need it, that's my concern about all of this, right? We should have this more of this money, a long, long time ago, so that we could get into the hands of folks that need rental assistance and housing assistance. So, I think that it's going to shore up folks and hopefully, keep them on path that are in their houses, and, help them be able to make up the difference for, when they were out of jobs for a while with COVID impacts, that they're able to get caught up with their payments. And I think that's, what we're looking forward to. We've got customers that we helped during the crisis that we're continuing to help right now that are going through this, and they really need the money. I mean, we're financing them now, and, our HPP program is assisting, but it's time for that money to start getting into the hands of the people that need it, and companies like ours that have been carrying the balance for the government, frankly, until this money gets delivered down. So hopefully for the small mom and pop shops, this will help them recover too. So we've had to dip into their retirement funds just to keep afloat while people haven't been paying their rents. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, we definitely are. So hopefully that'll get passed pretty quickly. Something else that kind of came out this week, studies estimate that home inspections could save buyers an average of $14,000. Patrick, I'm going to throw this one on over to you. We obviously work with a great home inspector, BPG Home Inspector. What's kind of your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, look, a home inspection is a critical piece for home buyers, period, in terms of knowing, ahead of time what you're stepping into in terms of a home, what's hidden behind the walls that you may not see to your eye that's not as experienced in looking and inspecting a house on your own. I do know that, in the tight markets right now, in a lot of markets where people are, losing opportunities to purchase houses because people are waiving inspections and waiving appraisals, which is really not a smart way to go into home purchasing. But I do realize in certain market areas, that's what's happening because it's the only way people can get under contract. But back to the inspections, I mean, we required it on every, what we call resale, already built home that's has been owned by somebody else that's now, being purchased by, our customers through our program. So it's super important. We want to make sure that, again, and TRIO is all about, helping people succeed in their quest to home ownership, right? So one of those key items is maintenance on your home, and not, finding yourself in a situation where you've moved into your house, you're trying to save money towards, your purchase and clean up your credit, and now all of a sudden you're, bombarded with a bunch of maintenance stuff here and there, and having to pay for that. So the home inspection is key to help avoid some of those, and let the seller take care of those items ahead of time before you step in and have to do it yourself because you weren't aware of those. So that, we can go on and on about home inspections and the importance and what they do and look for, but they are super important for sure. And we look to those as part of our, approving of houses that our customers go under contract with. So.
You're absolutely right. And, an agent pointed out the other day that their customer who is rented their entire life wasn't used to having to do a home inspection and had kind of questioned, was it necessary? But it absolutely is. I mean, you could definitely get into an unhealthy or unsafe sort of situation. We definitely don't want that for our customers, right? We want to be sending them into something that's going to be, a great living experience.
Yeah, and if you read the articles that are coming out, I think we quoted one a while ago in the New York Times where folks are learning the hard way that, you waive inspection, all of a sudden you're the one taking on a lot of expense in some of these houses. So, that's part of what we've always pledged to do with our program, is make sure that we're kind of the safe and sane conscience of folks when they get into that emotional roller coaster of purchasing a home, and take a step back, allow us to ensure that, the inspection is being completed properly, and, sellers taking care of what they need to take care of. And we can move fast on those inspections, but yeah, it's not a wise move to, as everybody listening understands, we're preaching to the choir here, but it's not a wise move to buy a house without an inspection.
No, it's not. So,
and not from your brother Joe, unless brother Joe is a licensed inspector, right? I mean, it really needs to be done by a professional.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there was an article this week in Yahoo Finance that I thought was kind of interesting. Homes are selling the fastest in these markets, and 8 of the top 10 are actually in current TRIO markets or future TRIO markets, which I thought was kind of interesting. So one of the fastest ones is actually Boise, one of our new markets that's going to be available here, hopefully in 2021, which I thought was kind of interesting. But some of our current markets that are available that are selling very fast are Sacramento, Stockton. Those are some of the fastest places being sold in right now. So the Central Valley of California is definitely, and Northern California area, definitely selling really, really fast. But the other ones are Seattle, Raleigh, Provo, Salt Lake City, Ogden, and Boise. A lot of Utah as well. So these are homes that are selling, they say, on average between 16 to 22 days on the market. And again, we're probably preaching to the choir because, many of you have said it's homes are moving very fast in your neighborhoods. I was actually kind of surprised to see Phoenix and Austin not on this list, right, Patrick? But this is really kind of interesting how fast things are moving in the industry right now, and how fast homes are on the market. Yeah. And then there was also an article in the New York Times that was really interesting called "Where Have All the Homes Gone?" And it was not only talking about obviously the low inventory of homes, but also how high rent has gone up in different markets, and how high home prices have actually gone up. And two of the examples that they used were actually trio markets. So I kind of wanted to share this with you guys real quick. I'm going to use Austin. I'm going to pick on Austin. They're only at 30% capacity right now in terms of the home inventory. The rental prices in the last decade have gone up 40%, and the price of homes has gone up 80%, right? So what's a good way to avoid that is obviously using Trio, right? Locking in that option price and making sure that that home price is not going up in any sort of way. Atlanta was even worse. Yeah. Their home prices have increased 120% in the last decade. And that's pretty incredible, right? So,
well, the key to both of those cities, Aaron, are jobs. I mean, when you look at those marketplaces, the employers have just established footprints in these markets where there's absolutely they've got great talent in terms of some quality universities, affordable housing prices, or at least they have been historically. And jobs. So, I mean, all of that is created for really dynamic and challenging markets for, first-time home buyers and relocation people looking, moving in. But it's also exciting. It's created a lot of vibrancy in those cities, and a lot of good things that have come as a result.
Well, and I think if we highlight Atlanta, right, and we look at the impact on our customers, those that got into homes with us in 2017, right now they're purchasing those homes from us, and on average we're seeing between 8.5% and 10% annualized appreciation that they're getting in their homes, right? And yet our charge to them has been cost plus 1% per year, 2% max. And so you can just understand the gravity of how much they're benefiting from locking in those prices. So if they hadn't have gone in with us and locked that all in, their ability to afford that home and purchase it would be way out, let alone the wealth they've built. So I think when you just look at these numbers, look at the history, things don't stop. And, we've really got an ability to, help a lot of people get into these market areas and secure their spot, right? And it is tough to find a house, but look, it's always tough to find a house. I know this is a accelerated market, but come on, we've all been dealing with the same story since the early 2000s. I mean, there's ebbs and flows, but the inventory is low, but I understand it's always a fight in finding the right home in the right marketplace. So
there's always an issue, right?
Yeah.
So
and we have customers that are successful every single month in getting into their houses, right? And so it isn't a matter of I can't compete. It's making sure your offers are presented the right way and getting those offers secured so that you're able to help communicate to that seller that you've got a guaranteed close and you've got this great program that's going to be able to get them into the right price on their home. So, it's all about that. But at the same point in time, I know we'll probably talk about this at a future event, but one of the other areas that we're getting into is creating more inventory for our customers, not just Trio Ready, but accelerating some production and some rehab to help some of the communities that we serve, get more homes that can work for our customers.
Absolutely, really exciting there.
2 points I want to add on that. One is on new construction, and in Texas specifically, I'll use that as an example because where they talk about lack of supply and everything, and how builders are selling homes flying off the shelves and prices are going up and everything. That being said, we're financing a lot of houses being new construction at that builders are coming to us with their customers, and coming to us to help purchase their houses, that there are homes available, to Daryl's point. And that's the only thing I wanted to bring up, is that there are plenty of houses out there to find, as long as you have some patience and are realistic. And our agent, Trio preferred agents out there are doing a great job of sharing and really doing their homework and showing our customers, the opportunities that are out there based on their approved financing, in terms of what they can afford. And in Georgia, just to touch on that too, 1 second, I wanted to, is that I think one of the most exciting things that I see out there for people is that Trio has really empowered them to have options when they've gone through our program and are ready to purchase, meaning that when their house has appreciated to the extent it has in the Georgia, greater Atlanta market, our customers have choices. They can choose to use some of that appreciation and equity and apply it to down payment and closing costs, and not use any of their saved cash to cover those costs when they purchase. Or they can choose to leave the equity in their home and cover those closing costs when they're purchasing the home. So I think that's really exciting, is one of the things that Trio has done is established this opportunity for families to build wealth through equity appreciation in their home, meaning their home price is increased relative to what their option purchase price is with us, that they can choose to use that or not with their purchase of the home and their financing at the end of the program. So I think those things have been extremely impactful for our customers in terms of putting that choice and that power really in their hands to make those decisions, as opposed to being forced into a decision or a box that they may otherwise have had to do. So anyway,
yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let's go ahead and move on to some questions. We've got some questions from some folks here. Again, if you have any sort of questions, go ahead and put them in the chat section, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We'll go ahead and get it right here and put it on the screen. Our first question here is from Bill Johnson. Is there a separate form from the assignment, or do we put it in the offer? Who wants to take it? Daryl, I'm going to throw it on over to you since Patrick just spoke.
Okay, fine. So yes, we do have an assignment addendum that you can find on Trio Residential, and that's the easiest way, is to just use that assignment addendum. If we do provide the language as well, so if you want to build it into the offer, you can do that. But we prefer to use the addendum. That way, the signatures are all on the same page. It's easy for our lenders to have that document.
Right.
Absolutely. So here, I'm just going to show you here real quick. Let me go ahead and add this stream here for you, Bill. So if you go to trioresidential.com, go over to the resources tab, scroll on down, and then where is it? Here it is, Trio Assignment Addendum. If you can see it's on the third column there, the second one in the third column. So that's where you can go ahead and find that Trio Assignment Addendum right there.
Yep,
cool.
Great question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and we've got a couple other questions here. First one, how does Trio calculate DTI? Patrick, I'm going to throw this one on over to you.
Well, a really great way to do that is to go onto our mobile app or our website. And calculating DTI is relatively simple. It's a function of taking your income and applying it against your debts that you owe. And those debts can be everything from car payments, credit card payments. If they are existing home buyer, then that it would include a mortgage or debt service if you have that, student loans. All of those things go into your what we call a debt spend, or your monthly obligations. And then obviously you're applying those against your monthly income. So whether that's from wages, a combination of wages and bonuses, for some there could be alimony or child support income involved in there. And so we'll look at all of that in terms of our underwriting. And I think the important thing in terms of how Trio looks at our debt to income ratio, which is what DTI stands for, is it's really not a lot different than how a loan officer and underwriter, a processor for a mortgage loan looks at the consumer information. We do very similar process on our end in terms of the consumer, but for ease and pre-qualifying your customers, I encourage you to use our website and our mobile app. That's what they're there for, and start with that.
Yeah, and essentially the debts are coming right off of their credit report, and the income, is what's being reported to us. And the unique stuff about Trio is we're looking at cash flow and income for self-employed, right? So if you've got multiple jobs, we have a lot more leniency on what can be included in income. So what's different about how we underwrite compared to a lender is it most likely, if your customer has a new career, a new job, if they've got changes in what they've been doing, impacts from COVID where they've been retrained and done something different, lenders are not going to be able to help with an approval on that. But we can. So we do look at they got a job last month. We're looking at their current pay stubs. They have to wait 2 years for a lender to do that. And on their debts, I think, some things that are different that we do we're okay. If someone has a judgment or a tax lien, we amortize those payments over 5 years, which is our kind of max term on our lease, which is a great advantage because, again, those are denials for mortgages. So if you got a tax lien or a judgment for a mortgage, you're done. You're getting a DQ on that one. Right. But send it to us. We can get people approved because we have the time that they need to pay those things off and renegotiate it before their permanent financing. So those are some things that are unique about us. Student loans sometimes can be a big one. Lenders will take 1% of the outstanding balance and include that in their monthly payment. That can be a big number for a lot of households that are just out of college and they've got that big debt. We end up approving a lot of medical professionals because they've got those big student loans, but their income isn't there yet. But we know they're great credit risk, right? They've got a job in the hospital. It's most likely that they're going to maintain, that position. So we're okay in going ahead and if there isn't a payment established on student loans, we don't include it in their DTI at all. Because a lot of times people have deferments for quite some time before their payments are impacted. If they do have a payment, then we put it on their DTI, right? So if their student loan does have a payment that's sitting there, we'll add it. So a couple of unique things there, but yeah, use the mobile app and then you can switch right over to the home price calculator with that and help determine the specific house and the taxes and insurance and the like that you need to remember as the real estate professional to add into their calculation. If you just do a standard and you're not looking at your local taxes, you're going to end up with a surprise because your local taxes in Texas are way higher than our base 1%. And in Nevada, they might be lower. So you really need to take a look at those specifics for your marketplace when you're calculating that specific house's a payment so they can determine if they're going to qualify for it.
Absolutely. And I just want to make sure people can find this now because of the new homepage. The resources tab is actually kind of hidden a little bit. So it's not up here on the top right now. It's just being worked on. If you scroll on down to the bottom, it's right here in case you want to play with some of those tools or calculators or anything like that. It's right down there where it says resources. You can go ahead and find the lease payment estimator, the home price calculator, or the comparison table. These are great tools for you when you're working with customers out there.
And definitely download the mobile app because it's super simple.
It's very simple, very simple.
And encourage your customers to do the same because it's got their document upload feature too. So they can, a lot of folks are just using their mobile phones. They're downloading a bank statement. They can tap it right in and add it into their application as they're filling out the remainder of their items that they need done.
Absolutely. All right, we're kind of running over a little bit, so I'm just going to do one more question and then we'll go from there. This one right here is, can Trio finance manufactured or mobile homes? We seem to be getting this quite a bit right now in the last couple of weeks. Patrick, I'm going to throw this one on over to you.
We can, but we look at them, we're going to look at them really closely in terms of their condition and quality and, their neighborhood and all the other attributes, if you will. I think one of the key things in our housing qualifications is, the fundamental question: can it be financed with an FHA mortgage? Is the ultimate question you should be asking yourselves. And if the answer to that is no, then that house won't work regardless of what kind it is. If the answer is yes, then you can proceed. And if it happens to be a manufactured or mobile home, we're not going to do a mobile home in the traditional sense of a mobile home. A manufactured house that's on a foundation that's not going to be moved or anything, that's a different story, right? With some of the new technologies out there around, manufactured, there's some great building products out there that are financeable that, we think are great quality. So,
yeah. And we, just to comment on that, we love the new modular construction and stuff that's built on site. No issues with that whatsoever.
Right.
But what we see in the mobile homes right now is they're overpriced. And for us, and a risk perspective, is that if that person doesn't purchase it, the ability to release that to someone who wasn't looking for a mobile home is much more challenging than a standard single family stick built home. So I think we had this in an area in Nevada where we had a number of agents showing mobile properties, and the pricing was more expensive than the stick built stuff that was in the same area. And so we had a customer that ended up where we weren't able to approve them for a mobile home. And they found themselves a brand new construction home, and we financed that for them, and they moved in, and it's all good. But that's the big concern, is that the pricing and then the resale is much higher risk in the mobile home. So that would be it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you very much. I just want to leave everybody on this thought that as things are going to start changing again, we're seeing that happening in different areas. As we know, I think today or next Wednesday, Texas is not going to require masks anymore, right? And we'll start seeing that in different areas. And that means that the way we do things will probably change as well. So please be prepared to pivot again, like we did last March and April of 2020, right? That things will change again. Some of you have always complained about with COVID that your greatest strength of that face-to-face interaction is not going to be possible. Well, you might be getting that back now, which is super awesome, right? So there's a lot of things that are going to be coming about. So just be prepared in terms of the way you market, the way you're communicating with folks, that you will probably need to pivot again, right? And that means thinking outside the box and working in it, maybe in a different way, right? That's not saying things are going to go back to the way they were in 2019, but just be prepared that things will kind of pivot again, and there will be that small adjustment period. And we're here to help you out. So if there are any questions about that, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We'll be happy to help you out and help you build your business. Well, Daryl, Patrick, thank you so much for today. Really appreciate your time and everything. This is fantastic. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Have a good day. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
All right. You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.